everyone who's joining us from anywhere in the world. A big hello to our YouTube fam, Instagram fam, all of you lovely people. Hi, hi there. There you
Hi.
are. Hi.
Hi, good evening. Sorry, join करने में late हो गई.
No, not at all. Please don't worry about it. All sorted. Am I audible?
Yeah, I hope you can hear me
Yes,
and
I
you can
can
see
hear
me.
you. I can see you
Yes.
as well, looking very pretty.
Thank you. So are you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you
So,
for having me at your live chat session.
no, it's our pleasure. I thought that your journey would be super, super inspiring. So, very quick context of what we've been doing at Inspiring Heights. We started this as a platform for women who are petite. So, in India, we hardly ever talk about height when it comes to inclusivity. We talk
Yeah.
about weight, we talk about skin tones, but it's still somehow okay to make fun of someone's height. So, we thought, why is that happening? And somebody needs to talk about this and do something to create a community in this space. So that's why it was called Inspiring Heights. And we used to at first
Yes.
invite women who are petite women achievers across different fields. And it slowly just expanded into this beautiful space where there are women achievers who've done some really interesting and non-linear things across fields. And as we explored that, your journey is something that's just been so inspirational. So the goal here is that anybody sitting in Aligarh, Nagpur, Faridabad, who is today looking at your journey, feels inspired by you, and she just feels that if Pooja can do it, maybe I can also.
That's really sweet of you to say those words.
So very quickly, of course, no introductions needed. But for folks who are beginning to now join us, Pooja, you would have first seen her on Rudy's. And before that, there was a life where she was a national level swimmer. She's been someone who's been academically driven, a topper at her college, so many different facets of her personality that we will explore today. And then she chose a path untrodden, which is to get into acting. We've seen her on shows like Kumkum Bhagya. We've seen her on Kasauti Zindagi Ki. She's worked with some of the top talent in the television primetime industry as well. And today we are uncovering where everything started, how she chose to pick this
Mm.
path, what is it that she's looking forward to in her future professionally as a mother to two people, two
Yeah.
kids. So again, welcome. We're so excited to have you unfiltered with us today, and very excited to get to know what your journey has been like, Pooja.
Honestly, I don't think I can sum up the entire journey in this, session of ours. But what I can tell you from my journey is that I don't think I can do it any other way. I wouldn't have it any other way. And I'm still, like I have a very long way to go ahead. Right now, wherever I've reached, whatever I have become, the person I've become in all these years, first when I left home, I got out of the nest, the comfort zone of my house, to a new city, to new people, to new friend circle and everything. Then I started working. How it was difficult for me as a person because I was always an athlete first, right? So I had a very disciplined kind of a lifestyle, waking up on time, sleeping on time, having food at a particular time, and when you shift your base from any city to Bombay, it's a very fast city. It's like there's a lot of hustle. There's lots to do in a single day, and you tend to not look at like look after yourself. So from having a completely comfort zone wala situation, disciplined life, and from there was no routine, there was no schedule. I think first thing was that. The second change that I got through was uh, the language. Like because I'm from Nagpur, of course I'm from a Bengali speaking family, so I was always good with Bengali in the house. I used to speak Bangla in the house with my parents, with my brothers, and even to my relatives on the call and everything. And there like even in Nagpur where I grew up, we had to speak a lot of Marathi, but we had a little bit of a slang Marathi, and the Hindi was also a little bit of raw, or rather, I say very rustic. And from that, there was a complete changeover in Bombay where people mostly, there's a lot of Gujarati and Marathi also, but there's a lot of English speaking people in, like the set, and a lot of people speak in English. So then I'm like, oh my God, there's a lot of change over here. So everything changed, your comfort zone, your food, and the way you talk, the way you express. Like I would have expressed, like I'm just saying, if a person is a Bihari and he lands up in a place where everybody's just speaking English, of course that person might be knowing English, but he's just comfortable speaking in Bihari. The same thing
Yeah.
for me. I was speaking Marathi and Hindi, and suddenly there was really different kind of dialect that I reached. So first two changes were those things. The third change, and I think the biggest change was in a good way. That was how, even in that chaos, the chaotic zone that we live as an actress, our profession is very demanding. There's always some discipline, some like I say regularity in the chaos, which I learned, which I picked up, and I started liking it as well. I started having best of both worlds. When it was very difficult, when it was very tiring, I would go back home. When I was just being too laid back in my hometown, and I would run back to Bombay. So this was the initial phase of my journey, of course, and after that, getting married, then managing married life and work, then having kids, then managing kids and work, and then now being in so many cities all together. Oh, it's just like, as I mentioned, I cannot talk about everything in this chat session, but what I can tell you is just what I really feel like sharing today.
Yeah, which I think is so interesting. The fact that it's been disciplined to then going into chaos and eventually figuring a way
Yeah.
in between all of that chaos and finding your feet.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
looks like it's always been about, okay, let me challenge myself and then overcome that challenge, which I think is,
Yeah.
again, what this is all about. And very sounds easy, but these are very nuanced challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what people might be wondering, specifically people who are following us on this chat session, who are probably in their teens, who are looking up to this video with this live chat session. You must be thinking, ये तो बहुत ही trivial चीज है, ये तो बहुत ही छोटी बात है. But जैसे जैसे आप वो ये जिंदगी जियोगे ना, आपको realize होता है कि छोटी छोटी चीजें ही सबसे ज्यादा matter करती है.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
and it
basic
actually changes from the person who actually, like right now, who I am right now. I think it's all because of these small things.
Yeah, and I think your journey started like that also, where even while growing up, you've lived across so many different cities. Born in Aligarh, you were in Faridabad for some time, you were in Delhi, you were in Nagpur. From the very beginning, being in so many different cultures, how has that shaped you?
I think that made me very malleable. Why I'm using the word malleable? Because I kind of embraced whatever was around me. I never was criticizing what is around me. I always, oh, यहाँ का ये system है, ये ऐसे चलता है. Okay, let's just have it this way. This city works like this. In this city, the people work like this. Okay, let's be like this. Like, and by the way, you just missed बीच में मैं भुवनेश्वर में भी थी 3 साल.
Okay, so it's all the way from north to south to east to west.
I completely, yeah. And right now, my husband is in Bellary. So, yeah. So, we try to just, like, with the kids, I go back to Bellary. So, yeah, we are spending a lot of time in South India as well. He was in Bangalore for a good amount of time. So, we were in Bangalore also for a while.
Okay, fantastic. How did you find that experience?
I think, yeah, I really like, I put this thing very straightforwardly. Everything or everywhere that I go, I need to enjoy the food. If I like the food, then I like the place. Very simple.
True.
The rest all is secondary for me.
True.
Because I'm a big fan food.
True. No, the basic need in life. And I think as we grow up, where we grow up, there are certain kinds of foods that we're not accustomed to also. So it's sort of adapting to and changing behavior in a big way.
That's true. You just kind of, your taste buds needs to get developed. That's it.
Yeah. But I think you were a national level swimmer, and then you came on MTV Roadies. So how did that transition happen? Because it doesn't happen ever so often. It doesn't happen so smoothly.
I think there wasn't any transition per se because I was there in the show just to enjoy it, just to win. If I lose, it was okay with me. I never had that mindset that if I lose, then I'm a loser. I never went like that on the show. That's what an athlete does. Of course, athletes, we train, all the athletes out there, they do train themselves to win, but they also learn how to take defeat. How to keep your head high even if you lose. It's okay. And then how to pick up from that place and again to keep working hard and then win again. So it's being an athlete made me I had a very different perspective for specifically a girl of 19 years of age. People of 19 years of age at that time, we were always, those days I remember parents are just after their kids to either become engineers or doctors or or just have a government job. So for that time, I'll say at that particular year, or rather 4-5 years in that bed, for me to just step out of that bed to decide I don't want to be an engineer, I don't want to be a chartered accountant, I don't want to be a doctor, and I don't want to be a government servant as well. Of course, I would love to, but I don't want to. That's not who I am. That's not who I want to be. If I wanted, probably I would have pursued arts. right? I'm just saying, hypothetically, I'm just saying. But for me, the change from an athlete to be on a reality show was very smooth or very easy from the mindset point of view. You know, of course, it came with a lot of challenges, but it's okay. I just took it as a journey. I always told my parents, if I enjoy it, I'll be a part of it. The day I don't feel like that I'm having fun, I'll come back. Simple.
Amazing. And I'm pretty sure then that the confidence, the support system at home was also,
Yeah.
we trust you, Pooja, go ahead and do what you want to do, right? Because these are
Yeah.
not oftentimes choices that we're able to
Yeah.
make so easily.
And you'll be surprised, you know, when the show came on air, like the timeline when the show came on air, I did not have a cable connection in the house. Why? Because my younger brother was in the boards a year, you know, like he was preparing for his board exam. So my mother was very specific that nobody can watch television in the house. So I couldn't see myself on air for the first time. I really had no place to see. I had to go to my friend's house to watch it. But then again, they were, see, that's the thing. My mother was very supportive with me. My father was there for me. But at the same time, they knew that we have another child whom we have to take care. So you can do your thing, but in the house, this is what it is.
Discipline, the discipline of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's true.
Great. I think that's also very grounding, very humbling.
Yeah, yeah. I think when I came back home, I realized, oh my God, the things are different in the house, right? You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
that's when you realize, but this is the house I've been living in. I've grown up in this house, and why does this house seem so different to me? And that's when I realized, yeah, okay, time to move on, time to have another chapter in your life. And that's when I expressed my desire to move out of the house and pursue acting and everything. You know, so it
Very,
didn't
very
come
nice.
one day. It just came over the period of time. I realized, okay, ये मेरे लिए नहीं है. This is not what I want. This is not what I would like to do. In fact, my mother was so specific that yes, you can be in this field provided if you complete your education and everything, right? And I was in my first year. I completed my master's as well while being
Yes.
an actress.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, so in my first year of Bachelor's of Commerce, I finished that. I did my final year as well, being an actress. And even while I remember I was doing a show called Swim Team, and before that, I was doing a show called Ghar Raja Pardesi. And I used to come for each exam to, back at home to Nagpur. For each exam, I had to fly back to Nagpur to give exam, and then I used to again fly back to work. But I kept the promise that I gave it to my parents that I'm going to pursue my studies as well. So I did that. I worked, and at the same time, and there were days I was doing Khatim also. I remember I was in my master's final year at that time, and I had my books, between the shots, like when the close-up used to happen, I used to have my books in my hands, and between each cut, I wouldn't read the dialogues. I would actually read more on my exam material. So yeah, I
So was
tried
there
to
a time
go.
where you were like saying instead of your dialogues what you'd read in the book?
No, I think that is what trained me to do a couple of roles in one day. And after being, in that exam zone and everything, the next year only I was doing 2, 3 shows in one day.
My God.
So I remember one pretty, मतलब उसके बाद काफी साल बाद. Morning I was like the entire night shift I shot for Dilli To Hai for Sony TV, which was in Naigaon. I wrapped up in the morning. I came home. I packed up my bags and I went to shoot Kasauti Zindagi. From there, I went to briefing of my web series called Kehne Ko Hum Safar Hai. From there, I went straight to the airport to Kolkata to shoot again for Kasauti Zindagi Ki. So I kind of just learned how to do multiple. I can't say acting when it comes to my studies, but I can say that memorizing and being present in both the things.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. We're just like multitasking at its
yeah,
max.
correct. So that's what I did.
Very, very demanding profession, clearly. And I think just like takes your all, I'm sure emotionally, physically, in every
Yeah,
which way, very, very involved profession. Now, being a parent, and I'm not asking this from a gender lens at all,
yeah,
just from a family standpoint, being a parent, two kids who are at a stage that really require very different kinds of attention.
yeah.
Um, Now that you look at such a demanding profession, what do you feel is something that's really important to be able to allow parents to have a fulfilling professional life, whatever fulfilling means to them, and also being able to balance family and requirements at this point in time?
So, like, you want to know what is important, or do you want to know how to
How
balance
would you
both?
balance? How do you? Okay, so I could break
You
this into
can't
two.
balance. You can't balance. it's a wrong term, and it puts a lot of pressure on parents, specifically
Mhm.
mothers. You
Mhm.
cannot balance. Like today, just saying, now that I've come for a live session with you, I had to make sure that both the kids are fed. They've changed into their night dress. I tried putting bed to one of the youngest one. I tried तब उसको सुलाने की बहुत कोशिश की, but वो नहीं सोया. फिर मैंने छोड़ दिया. So even if I have to do this, I have to make sure that that part of my life is well taken care of, or rather, whatever my duties are or responsibilities are, I done that. But then I couldn't do it, so I left it. But I came for this live session. But all I'm saying is you cannot balance. There'll be you always lose with something. You'll always manage to disappoint yourself. So I think I don't get disappointed, but I know that something will get missed, so I just let it pass. If शायद अगर आपके साथ ये इंटरव्यू पॉसिबल नहीं होता तो शायद मुझे लगता कोई बात नहीं, आपके साथ नहीं हो कोई बात नहीं, kids are more important, this is what I've done. The days where I can manage to whatever, they are well taken care of and I do this, then I'll be happy. Okay, chalo, आज उनके साथ साथ I can do this also. So the balance is, I think, not managing the both the things. The balance is, it's in your mind whether you are happy with balancing, the word balancing both the things. If you're happy to get disappointed and then move on, it doesn't affect you. I think that's the best balance that you want in life.
No, absolutely. I think that is beautiful. I really follow Indira Nooyi. She's one of my role models. And somebody asked her this question a very long time ago, right? And
Okay.
she gave a very similar answer. She said the same thing that, let's not say that you can have it all, but because you really can't.
No,
You can
that's
have
true.
one thing at one point and you can prioritize what it is
That's
for you
true.
at that point in time. And over time, you just have to train yourself to come out of that circle of guilt to say,
Oh.
hey, I'm not giving 100% to my career. Hey, I'm not giving 100% to my family, because
Yeah.
you can't.
You cannot. That's. I tell you what. When I had my daughter, I wouldn't have said this because daughters are different. Or rather, I was blessed in terms of my first child area that she was very supportive with me working. She wasn't a very fussy baby, or she wasn't very demanding as well. So I could balance the term that you were using. I could balance both the things: feeding her, nursing her, taking care of her, going to work, stepping out, everything. With Tamas and with Sana, like Sana has grown up, I am finding it difficult to step out of the house for a longer time, which I am not able to do much. And it is getting a little demanding because my husband is not here. He's in Bellary. So for me right now, being the mother and the father both, and being of course, I have a lot of support system in the house, but still, a parent is a parent. Nobody can replace
Yes,
a parent, right?
yes, yes.
So right now, all I can say is, I I'm not able to find the right word as of now, but all I can say is I am not in a right time where I should step out for work as an actress. That's why I've taken a sabbatical.
Understood.
For various reasons put
Of
together.
course.
But this is my choice that I don't want to step out as an actress for a long, because acting means I'll have to step out for minimum 12 hours. And that I cannot afford to do right now. Right? So it's better that I focus on the kids and whatever small things I can do, something that doesn't require me to go out every day for 12 hours.
Sure, sure.
That is the balance, right? I can manage to have. That's it. इससे ज़्यादा मुझसे नहीं हो पाएगा अभी.
And I think that's also empowering in a way, because you've had a huge body of work. There is absolutely nothing forget about proving to anyone else, even for you.
Yeah.
Just to have that kind of confidence to say, I know I can get back to this when I want to, when I feel that everything, I can focus 100% on what I'm looking to do.
Yeah.
And hit at that ambition again in a different lens.
Yeah.
Then that comes from confidence. It doesn't come easy to even take a step, I wouldn't say back, just take a step to the side on what's a priority right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And now that you've had a journey as an athlete, someone who's been in such a demanding, competitive profession, huge achiever, been on reality TV, said your truth out, like been yourself authentically, in the judgment of so many different eyes, right?
Yeah.
What is it that you feel would be something you would like to pass down to your kids, in terms of what you've learned through your own life experiences?
I think the happiness that I get out of working and being a mother, both, like at the same time. I think the happiness, I don't want to give them anything else apart from the happiness that I get out of seeing them, being with them, and working, along with being with them, or rather along with being their mom. I think that's all I would like to give it to them. And even when they grow up, they should remember that uh, mom was always happy to
Yeah.
work and to be with them. They shouldn't worry about the other things, or how she managed to miss this appointment, forgot this particular thing, or missed this thing. It's okay. I think that's okay. So
And
I
that
would
would
rather let
happen,
them
how much
remember
ever we
those things.
control.
Yeah, so I would rather like if I go back and think about my mother, I would rather remember the days that she was happy about. The happiness when she got that, like each day when we come back from school, she wait at the door for us, or she just wait outside the house. So for her, happiness was us coming home and she being the first thing visible to us when we're back home from school or from swimming or from a tournament, right? So I think those things have always made her happy. So I would always remember these things. For my father, the happiness was about, the days that he had holidays that he would take us out to buy fish. You
Um,
know, he would make us teach how to buy the perfect fish, and then apart from that, he would make sure that they like each Sunday. It was like each Sunday. This was like a religious thing for us as a family. The Sundays meant that he would have biryani. Or mutton biryani or something like that. So he would cook for us. Sunday he would cook for us. So I think those things always like we are grown ups, like we have our own children now, but we remember the day that they were happy, right? So I would also want to just give those things to my kids to help them remember our happiness.
Amazing. I think that is beautiful. Um,
Thank you.
on the flip side, very lately I've been talking to a lot of women who have shared that a lot of the choices that they make today are because of memories that they hold ever since their childhood. So, to give you an example, I met someone who is today almost 40 years old, and she said, I never wear cut sleeves because when I was 10, my aunt said that your arms don't look very nice if you wear something that doesn't have sleeves, so don't wear that. And she carries that burden with her all through, even today, 30 years later. Are there any things that you would consciously be mindful of as a parent? This is in terms of body conversations, which I think has been a very common theme that I've seen. But even otherwise, any insecurities that you would consciously not want to
So
affect? Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you might find this very intriguing, very interesting, and very difficult for you to believe. But the fact is, all the insecurities that I had as a child, I make sure that I do just the opposite of it. Because the things that made me feel small, scared, insulted, humiliated, I make sure that I do just the opposite things. It's me being the rebel. Anything I can't remember distinctively, as I mentioned that मैं हमेशा उसके अगेंस्ट गई हूँ ना, तो मैंने ऐसी कोई चीज की नहीं कि जिससे मुझे जो चीज ने मुझे बुरा फील कराया, सैड फील कराया, हर्ट फील कराया. I would rather do those things only. There's a saying that cry in the places, sorry, laugh at the places which made you cry, right? So I did those things.
Oh.
So I do not have insecurities, and if you really want to take this as my advice and give this advice to the younger generation, this is what I'll give them. If you felt something which made you feel insecure or small or sad or hurt, just go and do those things and stop making yourself feel sad about it.
How
Right?
cool is that? Yeah, I find that super beautiful because it's almost like for me, the analogy that I'm drawing here is that you erase the bad memory and
Yeah, I
replace
don't have
that with a
bad
beautiful
memories.
memory.
I don't have bad memories. Forget about memories. People who I've disliked even a little bit, who've given me pain. I don't even remember their names. I have that kind of memory. I just forget. It's because see, if you're still feeling bad about something even after 30 years, there's something wrong with you then. You should be conquering those fears and fighting those insecurities after 30 years. What are you going to tell your children? If you yourself can't fight them, how are your children going to fight? Right? Like I do have a fear right now. I just developed after having children. I used to drive a lot, but suddenly I feel scared of driving. So now I don't drive. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to drive. When my time is okay, like my time permits, because I don't have that much time, I'm going to start driving again. It's not that because I've developed a fear, I'm going to stop driving. No, I'm going to get back on the wheel, but not now. It's okay. I understand that. Maybe not now, but 30 years is a long time.
Yeah.
You have to fight it someday.
Yeah. I think that's why it's important just to have that safe space to firstly say it out loud and just accept the fact that this is what we've been holding on to and then sort of release it and let it manifest in a way that's beautiful and overturning what we've held on to for so long.
That's true.
Which I think what you said becomes very beautiful. That if there's been such a memory, just go ahead, do the opposite. And
Yeah. Like, if a person has made you feel bad, you forget it. But if that person comes in front of you, just say hello. Hi. Don't be scared. Just because that person, whatever, made you feel bad. I know easier said than done. It's not that easy for some people or for some situation. I totally get that. But then there has to be some day, one day, that one day will change everything.
absolutely, absolutely. Like for me, I always used to wear heels wherever I go, even if I had to walk for 2 kilometers, 5 kilometers, whatever it was. Um, because I felt that if I don't wear heels, then maybe I look small. But very recently, I finally gotten the confidence that okay, one day I'm not going to wear heels, and I'm going to see what happens if I do that. And then after that, I've never worn heels. So absolutely, it just takes one opportunity for someone to
Yeah,
try.
absolutely. That's true. It's just one day you just switch.
You that thing switches inside of you, and you find the courage. Um, I think what's also interesting, Pooja, is that very early in your career, you got onto a reality TV show, and interestingly, a lot of that is fortunately, unfortunately, about judgment, right? Anything we say, the way that we look, it's judged. All of our words, it's become even more amplified, I'd say now. But even then, everybody had views. There were YouTube comments, and people have. There are all kinds of, I think, conversations that happen. And then you went on to television prime time, where again, there are
Yeah.
it's a profession that's all about the way that we conduct ourselves, the way that we look. In the middle of all this, what's your source of self-truth, self-confidence, and not being bothered or affected by opinions, judgments, industry standards per se?
See, as of now, all I can say is I'm. I don't read them actually. I don't get bothered very easily as such. I also don't get affected by people who are not related to me. People who meet to me, like my family, my friends, if they say something hurtful or mean things, I would get affected. People who don't even know me, I don't really think I should give them any explanation to them to what I did or what I want to do in life, right? So that's why I think that has been since then, like with me, that behavior has been with me for a very long time, before being an actress also. So those things never bothered me, only because if you mean to me, like you really mean to me, like really badly, and I have to talk to you, after the day, and probably you're my work colleague and all, then I would feel, oh, I have to talk. But even if it's a work person, I can avoid that person, not an issue. I don't get affected that much. But if it's my family and friend, only then will I get affected. So I think, otherwise, there's a saying again, you just keep a glass of water or just put a flower, and people are going to troll that as well. So forget about being a celebrity, and so it's a big deal. So I think people can troll anything, any random thing on the internet. You shouldn't get bothered. I don't get bothered. I don't care. You want to say something bad? Your choice.
No,
Bad
I'm
for
glad.
you,
Absolutely.
right?
They still took out the time to engage with you, right? While
Yeah,
they
and
were doing your own thing.
yeah, but honestly, after having kids, I have no time. I have no time for such things. I can't give that much weightage and importance. Not that I used to give it before having kids, but after having kids, nah, no time, boss.
No, amazing. I think it's just also, firstly, this requires immense amount of thick skin, and it requires immense amount of just emotional intelligence. So
Yeah.
congratulations. For me, I think I'm still on the path of sort of building that. 90% of the days okay, 10% of the days it gets to you, but it still become 10 because earlier 40, 50.
See,
So
before internet, before these quotes and everything, I was very clear about something because I was already an athlete. I used to meet a lot of athletes for the
hmm,
tournaments. I
hmm,
used to go
hmm,
out.
hmm,
I was very clear about something in my head, even as a child, mind it. And that was, if you have a problem with me,
hmm.
it's your problem, not my problem. Right? You don't like me, your problem, boss, not my problem. And that's been with me for a very long time, and it's still with me. And I've not let that quality of mine go away. Even if it's family or friends, sometimes, yeah, relations are not meant to go the way you want to, right? So if a person doesn't like you or is hurting you in some way or disliking you some way, it's their problem. They are giving and wasting so much of time of theirs on you when it doesn't even matter to you, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let it pass.
yeah,
Just let it pass. Unless you really want to confront and have a fight.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think important to fight the fights that are worth it, and some are really not worth it.
Yeah.
Um, Now, if I were to ask you, the I think amazing opportunity to work with someone like Ekta Kapoor, who's been like a magician in so many people's careers, really accelerated their
Yeah.
careers in the TV industry. You worked
Yes.
with her across projects. How has that experience been? And what do you think you've imbibed from her leadership?
I think again that the word that you used, I know it's you really need to have a very high emotional intelligence level so that you can work with such a uh, strong, powerful person, right? Like who's really strong, who really commands everything, and at the same time has the empathy to take care of all the people who are working for her. I remember there was a time when my daughter was 9 months old, and I went back on the set. She made sure that there's a car and a driver, and I don't work overtime. She made sure that there is always somebody who's taking care that I get my time to feed my daughter. I can move between the shoots also if required because she knew my level of dedication, right? I think, I mean, she has so many people to work with, right? But she made sure that a new mom is well taken care of. And at the same time, she didn't even let me go during my pregnancy. She said, no, no, we would love to have you. And I was like, oh my God, they want to work with me even when I'm like heavily pregnant. That's something really, I mean, I didn't expect them to work, right? And for me, I think I'll always remember these things that of course she's a producer. I've been working for her, but these qualities that she's shown to me, I think I'll never forget. And no matter what people say, I'm always gonna stand with her for these things that she really made women empowerment to the core. Just by making shows and all, I totally get it. What you see, but this is where an actual woman empowerment is happening. That is helping a woman even during pregnancy, during delivery, after having a baby. Because other producers wouldn't even bat an eye. They wouldn't even take you, on their set because they know that probably we are not that productive because we can't give that much of time. And I think Ekta ma'am had this quality that she would rather give a person who's talented and at the same time who's dedicated and who really needs that support. I think that's the mentor,
Yeah, I
right?
think that is absolutely important. I think just to have it's essentially a safe working environment and a supportive working environment, right? If we don't have that, then how is it that women can continue with their
Yeah,
ambition, with their drive to work? It's just the most basic thing.
that's true.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
reach. There'll be a lot of people like us who change.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's when examples like that also come forth that women also feel the power to say, hey, it's totally fine to make a choice, to want to work, to go on a set with a baby, to go on to work and like have ask for a crutch, ask for a supporting working environment. So I think these are the conversations that sort of drive that envelope forward.
Yeah.
Um, Now my other question is, interestingly, a lot of people come to us and say, my height is so and so, I want to be an actor, I want to be a model, but I feel like the industry will not accept me. You're someone who's worked in the industry for such a long time, both across reality TV and prime television.
Yeah.
What is your perspective on representation, inclusion in the industry? Because a couple of years ago, honestly, Pooja, I also felt that people who were casted, uh, perhaps there was a certain body type, perhaps there was largely so. Of course, there were a lot of shows that were the new age kind of shows, but now that's become the majority. And that's become the vanilla where every person is looking more realistic, is actually playing the part rather than, just looking the part. So, what are your thoughts on how the industry is changing when it comes to inclusion, diversity, different body types, skin tones, height?
I think it's great, and you'll be surprised with the amount of diversification that has happened over the period of time. A person who's on the heavier side, they are also doing so good. It's not that they are excluded, being on people who look little different, have a different like facial structure, probably have tattoos or they have really like probably braids in their hair or something like that. I think every person, if he or she is a talented person, the industry is really welcoming. I can't say that they are not welcoming. They're very welcoming, really.
And more so now, do you think it's becoming a lot more welcoming now, or in your experience has always been?
Yeah, जितने सालों से मैं हूँ उतने साल से I've seen welcoming only. Look at me, small town girl, had no experience of acting. So I'm also part of it. Because I, being an athlete, imagine always just a regular t-shirt wearing girl, had track suits and tanned skin. Because swimming makes you tan, right? Tan skin, short hair. Imagine, but I made it. I mean, my school friends were really shocked when they got to know Pooja is an actress. Who wouldn't? I mean, I would be the last, like, there's a kind of, I'm not trying to stereotype here, but then, yes, there was a set of, uh, like, bunch of classes had this typical thing, like, guys playing outside during the break, or, when they are having free time, they're playing cricket, basketball, or something like that. And the girls are typically, standing in the corner or, just chit chatting. And there was me who would always play, no matter what, lunch break, short break, before the school, after the school, between classes. I was always called by my teachers who would come to the class. My principal would take my ball. She will take either the badminton racket. Pooja, go to the class. I was one kind of a girl. I always had extra pair of shoes or a shirt because I was drenched in sweat, and I managed to become an actress. So if you're really asking me that was it always welcoming, I think I'm going to say I was welcomed with open arms. So I can't say that they were not welcoming by the time I was there, right?
No, amazing. I think that's exactly how it should be. Also, ultimately, any profession should be about, of course, if there is a certain physical requirement, that, but also about talent. And it's really nice that that's happening. And again, then the manifestation of that for our community is basically don't worry about your height, don't worry about your skin color, body type, whatever it is. Just go for it if you're interested in the field and give it your all.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think you really need to shout this out loud.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, just summing up, been an athlete, been someone academically inclined, been an actor, so many different experiences on a personal level as well. What is one thing that you know about yourself, and through that, perhaps a lens of the world that a lot of people don't know? Like, what's been like your key learning through everything that you've experienced so far?
Key learning. I think I observe a lot, like a lot, and I don't say much. I'm a very talkative person. I'm very friendly. I talk a lot. I'll make other people comfortable, but I'm a very good observant. I observe nicely, politely, silently, and that has worked with me. And I'm not saying this is something like a sly habit or something like really creepy way of being observant. This I'm saying, like being an actress. Imagine 20 years of age, I turned into an actress, and I had zero idea about the technical word, the language, how to stand in front of the camera, how to look, how to not look, how to avoid certain things. Nobody taught me. I just kept watching nicely, politely, and now I can confidently say that even though I haven't learned, but if a really technically sound person is with me, that person will never even guess that I have no knowledge before coming on the set. But now I do. So that is the way I want people to be observant. It can be about anything. If you're into studies, if you're a 9 to 5 job person, or you're a creative person, all you have to do is observe nicely whatever things you gotta learn. And observing, not by boasting about it. I learned this. See, I know how to do this. Learn and just keep your mouth shut about it. That's it. You don't have to boast about it. That's what I mean by silently observing things and learning.
Amazing. I think that's such a beautiful manifestation of just learning on the job, doing what you're supposed to do with full focus. It also requires full focus, right? That just means you're involved in every single aspect. Even when you're not doing something, you are actually doing something, which is to say, oh, how is X, Y, and Z doing a particular thing, and what can I learn from them?
That's true, because there's so much to learn in the world. Like there's so much, even in the profession that you are, and only those people go ahead who are willing to learn, who don't work as if they are a professional. Even the best of the people in their particular, respective field, they'll always be keen to learn something new, and that's how you become a better professional.
Fab. I think that's a very, very interesting piece of advice, Pooja. I'm really it's making me think. Where is it that there are opportunities to observe and learn? And I think as a small business owner, there's definitely lots that I can do in that space. So thank you for sharing that.
But it's really important, because what happens is we are always so full of things, or we are worried, or we are just like always planning something, but we don't really sit back and just see.
Yeah. Exactly.
All you have to do is sometimes just kabhi hota na, when you're painting, supposedly, you're painting. But have you just observed what you're doing? You just go back. You just look at your painting and keep observing, and then you'll understand the flaws or the changes that it needs. But if you're just keep, continuously working also, that is not helping. Or you're just looking at it out, like not really picking up anything, just looking at it aimlessly. That also is not going to work. You have to really focus, but with intention.
Yep. And reflect from time to time to just like take a step back and see, oh, this is the outer picture, this is the larger picture of what's been happening around me.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Okay, now a very quick rapid fire before we round up. I'm going to ask you questions. Who's your favorite actor that you worked with?
My favorite actor.
Yep.
Recently, what about it? Ronit Bosta, for Kenny Ko Hum Safar Hai, Nawab Shah, Shubhavi, for Kasauti, Kanu ma'am, again for Kasauti, Uday Baba, as in Uday sir, the Tikekar sir, very good actor, very fond of him. Linesh Mattu for बड़े अच्छे लगते हैं. And so yeah, I think I'm really fond of the way they're acting, the way they are working in their profession, and they taught me a lot of things. They really taught me a lot of things. Hina Khan, she was so good, yeah, with the Kasauti Zindagi. It's been a while, right? I'm trying to recollect all the show's name. Who was part of which show?
Okay, lovely. Who is the favorite director that you worked with?
Sameer Kulkarni. I worked with him for my first show. एक दूसरे से करते हैं प्यार हम for Star Plus.
Okay. Was it like an acting school?
No, yeah, it was. We still talk to each other. He was the one who started Kumkum Bhagya, but I joined Kumkum when he had already left Kumkum Bhagya.
Okay. Consider him a mentor?
Yeah.
All right, lovely. What's the favorite show you've been a part of, since you've been thinking about all of the different shows that you worked across?
Swim Team has been the most adorable show that I've ever been part of. It was just way ahead of its time. I was playing a national swimmer in it, and I was aspiring to go for Rio Olympics in that particular show. And my lovely director, Khuzema. Khuzema and Sameer sir both are my favorite directors, but Sameer sir will always be very special for me because he was my first director. So he really had a lot of patience to teach a non-actress, and I think that's commendable.
And that's the confidence you need, especially as you're starting out also, right? Somebody just believe in you more than
More than confidence, I think you need love. You need patience, you need love.
All right, lovely. Is there a super difficult scene that you remember that's been like the most difficult scene for you to perform?
There have been a lot of scenes, but specifically there was Kene Kom Safare. And I think for Swim Team, I had to swim the entire night for the shoot. I thought swimming was difficult, and I forgot it is more difficult when you have to shoot without sleep.
Oh my God.
It was madness. It was sheer madness.
All right. But when you saw the result, did you feel like, man, I've achieved this and it was so worth the effort?
I think that is the best shot that I've ever given. Best. I just keep it with me everywhere that I go. I just have that screen grabs from that particular shoot of mine. I feel very proud. Like the days that I'm really feeling low, I just look at those videos and pictures of that particular shoot, and I was like, if I can do this, I can do anything.
Amazing. How cool to have achieved that. Web series or daily TV shows?
Both, actually. I love both.
Okay.
I can't really pick up any one thing. It's like choosing between both my brothers.
All right. Okay. Is there a dream role that you have?
I want to be a cop.
Okay.
I haven't been a cop yet.
Hashtag Lady Singham.
You wish.
Why not? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lovely. I think just got to know so many interesting aspects of how you look at the different beats in your life, in your journey, in your career, across parenting. So thank you for sharing those so candidly with us.
Parenting is, I think everything is, there's a, what do you say, a manuscript for it, but for parenting, just figure it out on that particular day.
And everyone's journey is just like, kya hi sikhoge, you can never be like a perfect parent.
That's true. So
nobody can.
Like,
kitna bhi pad lo.
So it's like there's an exam which there is no syllabus. You have to figure out the syllabus and give the exam. And no matter what, you have to fly out with passing colors.
And which I think every parent does, because I'm sure that every parent tries their best. Whatever is best and more from their capacity. So
that's true.
Yeah.
It's not that I say cakewalk. It comes with its own set of challenges.
I'm sure, but I think Pooja, just your approach to everything that you have experienced so far. Sounds like such a power woman where you're like, listen, these are my terms. I'm very sure of myself. Even if I'm not sure of myself, that's for me to know and I'll figure it out. And if
Yeah.
I don't figure it out, also, it's okay because on some days I don't figure it out, and that's
Absolutely.
absolutely
Like,
normal.
I just tell you, like, when I was getting married, I was very particular, like, when I had to put this across to my family that I wish to get married and, I have somebody in my life. So I was very sure that, if it's marriage and I have to get into a marriage, it should be my responsibility, not my parents' responsibility. If it works, it is my responsibility. If I'm not happy, if I'm not able to be in a happy relationship, that should also fall on me and not my parents. So no matter what, whatever happened in my life, whatever decision I had to take, I am solely responsible for all my decisions, always, and I have always been, and I'd like to keep it that way.
Yep, why not? And if you can, we can always back our decisions, however difficult, easy it is. Like, there's this funny thing that I oftentimes say, which is like life is equal to sangharsh. So
Yeah,
there's this part of how like there will be something up and down that'll always be happening. So you just have to see the happy side of it, back your decisions, and like move forward from there.
yeah. As in, see, if you treat it as a sangharsh, it'll be a struggle. There'll be struggles, nevertheless, but you have to treat it as a journey where whatever comes, if it's a struggle, if it's a good day, if it's a happy day, you know, it's a win-win situation for both. If it's a bad day, you learn from that day. If it's a
Yeah,
good day, then all the more better.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You have to keep yourself telling that today, if it's not a good day, tomorrow will be a better day. But you can't go, oh, it's a struggle only, tomorrow it's again going to be a struggle. Don't treat life like that. Then it's going to be difficult.
yeah. No, I think there are phases. See, right now, I think for me personally, just very quickly, as a small business owner, building in a new space, it's tricky. It's interesting. A lot of challenges.
Yeah.
Not being able to also give enough time to my family, which I feel ever so guilty about. But that's how it is. And then you're like sometimes in that zone. But yes, I think again, just being grateful for all the beautiful things in life, and then seeing the light at the end of the tunnel is where I'm going to be in a short while.
Yeah, you'll be there. You'll be there. My best wishes for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pooja. Just again, a big, big, big thank you for making the time, sharing so candidly, so honestly, so beautifully, and spreading like these little sparks of love and happiness. That's really, really cool. Lots for people to learn from how
My
you are
pleasure.
going about and finding power from that. So thank you for sharing your choices. It's not easy to do that, and more power to you for having that confidence in yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. And my best wishes that you keep growing ahead in life and you find all the nice things in your life as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you. Bye. See
Bye
ya.
bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Yeah.